I'm going to talk more about this emotional letter writing to people you care about. Now, I don't advocate doing it to just random people. Like, I had a problem with the guy at the car tried to sell me the car. I'm going to write an angry letter. I've never done that. That seems pointless to me. I'm talking about people you really love, you really cared about. The fact that you know, reason people don't want to write them sometimes is because, yeah, it is to admit that you care about somebody, but maybe you're not like, I did never love you anyway. Well, that's the thing. I think people are like emotional cripples, and sometimes when they write or express these kinds of feelings, they just go off. It's like, and you're ugly, and your signature chicken salad, it sucks. Nobody actually even likes it. And see, I don't say those things, and I feel a little bit more justified in the way I communicate these because, yeah, I might hurt someone's feelings or be even rude or whatnot, but I'm on the topic, right? It'll be on the topic. I'll be saying, here's why I think you're a jerk, if I'm saying that at all. I'll be trying to say something more positive, but I might just say that. But it'll be because of this and that. I won't say, and you're fat, and you're ugly, and you're these the things that I'm, and you're these thing that you're weak on. I know that hurt your feelings. Because see, if I say those things, like, why would I say them now, right? If the chicken salad sucked the whole time, and it's true, then I'm a jerk because why wouldn't I have said it before when allegedly I was friends with this person? Obviously, I'm a failure as a friend ahead of whatever this event is. Or two, it is good chicken salad, in which case, I mean, I don't even have to explain why I'm being an asshole. It's lose lose on that. But if I do it on the subject that I really believe, I could be wrong, but it's different because it's the actual feeling and subject. And that brings me to childhood because I'm talking about situations with family, people that might be involved with their issues that have gone back to childhood. And so many people are like, well, don't talk about your childhood, you're grown up, and why would you blah, blah, blah. It's weak. Oh, you're a baby, why talk about your childhood? Oh, stop whining, you're blaming other things, you're blaming your childhood, blah, blah, blah. Hey, you're 800 years or something out of date with psychoanalysis. If you find that sometimes you're an asshole and you'd like to be an asshole less often, however often or infrequent it is, less than that, then you're gonna have to think about your childhood. And you say, oh, no, 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 I know my problems were because of this abusive relationship, my reaction to it. Okay, well, think about your childhood is why you got in that. Oh, no, 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 I'm sorry, it was because I was strung out on drugs, how I got in that relationship. Okay, then think about how you got strung out on drugs. I mean, it all goes back to childhood because that's where you came from. And it's one of the most exposed, useful places to look at when trying to figure out yourself. And I think that's why people really don't want to talk about it because they're like, I was such an idiot. And they don't want to they don't want to think about these things. And parents that were young, they don't want to think about that they were young. People don't want to think about how much they screwed up at any age of their life. So they don't like to think about the past. And it is the only and best thing to think about. All right. See, if I find myself about to write a letter of somebody that I'm really angry at, and all I have is, well, you're ugly and the chicken salad you think is so great, everybody hates it. If that's all I have, then I know I'm wrong. See, so this is what justifies me in approaching it this way, because I can realize that I'm wrong that way. Okay, and it happens less and less because by doing it, have to face that when that comes up. Right? If that's all I've got, I'm wrong. Simple. I have to start writing an apology. I've done that. I've been rude and thought I was justified afterwards when I'm trying to explain, hey, this is what the problem was. I'll be like, okay, the problem was I was a jerk, you know? And in a world where people have a lot of trouble, you know, realizing they were wrong, and, we talk about, oh, they won't admit they're wrong. Yeah, that's kind of a problem. People won't admit they're wrong, but I just want them to realize it. The extra energy to make them actually admit it out loud and stuff, I can't even be bothered because it takes so much energy that I'm just happy if someone would realize something and go on. Stop saying the wrong thing or something, or, you can see the sign when people have realized it. That's okay, that's good enough. I've done my bit if I was involved with it at all. Okay. But if we talk about our childhood all the time, and oh, I was sad, and you complain to your spouse, and you bring it up all the time, every family gathering. Well, but you did this or that. Then yeah, you're just whining. Shut up. But if you have a unique problem with somebody, or a fissure forms between you and someone else you had a bond with, and it's related, it traces back, you find feelings like that coming up, and it's like people don't want to talk about it because they're like, like people with really good lives, and they know, well, I don't really have anything to complain about. So they've ignored how mad they were at their older brother for always, you know, mutilating uh, her dolls. She's never said anything because it doesn't really matter. So except for she's thought about it over and over and over a million times, and it kind of does bother her. You know, then it comes up in an argument later where there's something actually serious going on. You're like, yeah, you did this, and the guy's like, what? That's out of left field. Yeah, I guess it was important. Psychology makes you feel that your feelings are important. You can solve them by addressing them. Now, some people just want to put them out there and go, look, I hurt feelings, keep falling sorry. Okay, yeah, fine, complain about that. But when you just say, and therefore I don't like that, so therefore we won't do it at all. Um, yeah, whatever. You know, and it's like it is so useful to go through my feelings on things and figure out how I feel. And if I'm going to have a chance to talk to somebody, then a way to bridge the communication gap. And if I'm not, then the way to feel satisfied that I won't, be able to communicate with them. And I think these things through, and you know, I try not to be too obsessive and stuff, but frankly, if I'm thinking one through, then, maybe I'll just have to be alone if you don't like it. People are like, oh, but this isn't very, I don't like this kind of vibe. Well, okay, then maybe I'll be alone while I think about this thing, because this is a part of the spiritual path. This is how I address and redress both my issues, other people's issues, the issues we have together. This is how it has to work. There is no other way. You have no other way. You could tell me to go to your priest and stuff. None of that stuff works for me. This is how it works. And sure, there's a lot of people out there. It's like, well, I'm not going to mention this feeling from my childhood and tell anybody that's why I'm having this problem with my cousin, because they'll it's not attractive and they won't think I'm as cool. It's not a cool feeling to have. Well, that's why those people are idiots. That's why they get nowhere. That's why you have problems. If you can't face your childhood and think it through, and I don't mean, and it's not okay just to glorify it and go, oh, the good parts, and we don't remember the bad parts. No, I'm talking about the bad parts. And I'm talking about the petty bad parts. Whatever, you just go by what you feel was bad. Okay? And when you pick up something that you feel was bad, that's like, that wasn't really bad, okay, sometimes with your adult vision you can see, oh wait, I was mad at my mom, but she had no choice. She actually did really well, and your madness will just go away. Or sometimes we'll realize, well, I was mad, but actually I was just a little tiny kid, and I was 3 times as mad as I otherwise would have been, right? And sometimes you'll be like, it doesn't seem important to me, but it is. And then you'll find there's something else it's linked to, and there's something else that it's linked to. If it keeps going on, believe me, it'll get important. There'll be some sort of structure, and it might end up being the whole way that your sibling or relation has treated you their whole life. And maybe it'll turn out that it's your fault as well. Something you did, you'll trace it back to your own fault, because along the way, there are always faults of your own, always. And that's another thing's funny with the letters. And like I had a issue with my uncle a couple years ago, and you know, you just whatever. But uh, people have they want to use all sorts of tactics. They don't want to discover your own thing. And like my uncle, for example, would be saying, I would never admit I was wrong. And it's one of the things I was saying with him. It's like, well, you don't admit any fault or any fairness. You demand this treatment for yourself. You didn't offer me that, or even lesser but similar and kind of treatment. You didn't, these, and it's just so common that people say that you don't. And I'm writing these things and I'm admitting, I admit I was wrong here, and I think I did this wrong as well. But you still said this and that, or or whatever I'm saying. And to me, I am able to say I was totally wrong in this area, but you have to understand this other area is still important to me. That's why I'm still mad. Okay, I will take culpability in this area, and then they'll still write you. You never admit you're wrong. It's like, and I know they read the letter because there's various words and stuff they read it, and sometimes it seems like they're upset too. They read it 15 times, and still, they're blanking out parts of it. They need practice with this kind of thing. And I mean, it might not. It might be something negative about me, just in a practical sense. That even if I'm right, that this is the good way for a spiritual path of strengthening yourself, that that it's poison for those that would not want to use this method. Because yeah, if I care about you, then I guess there's the danger that if we have a falling out, I'm going to take it seriously, and you're going to hear how I feel about it. It's not going to be berating to you, but I'm somewhat intelligent, and I might find something that you will, on reflection, uh, feel pains and self like self disworth and like not good about yourself, and not exposing yourself to that at all. Theoretically, there's a way to not have to deal with that, but see, I don't believe that. I believe that when you deal with when you don't deal with it, that it just builds up like a cyst. It's much better to have a surface wound that gets infected and it can burst and then kind of naturally clean itself, and you can even help it out, than like a cyst deep in your mind that's just gonna build up residually. So even when I make a mistake and it's like, oh, I was an asshole, I shouldn't have written that letter, and it's one of the later ones where I realize I need to apologize, which I would say that's pretty rare because each thing is enough of a reflection. But if it does go on like that, and I find out that my mistake, then good. What other way is there? How do I find out my mistakes? Well, it's crucial. I don't find that most other people spend so much of their time philosophically on explaining to themselves how they find mistakes. Now, mind you, there's plenty of people better than me at actually finding their mistakes. But I mean consciously explaining why and how you find mistakes, and why you consciously crave that, and don't just unconsciously do it because you're making yourself a better person. You figured out some way to do it without admitting that's what you're doing, so you don't have to admit you were wrong. Now, how can you actually embrace change and drive it forward? That's really the question. And this kind of communication is the way, because these are the important things to us. You have a deep problem with your parent, they're from a generation, oh, you just can't communicate. Well, that's sad. True, but sad. And maybe you'd be surprised. Maybe you could, if you speak the same language.